When you visit a city, Monique, you normally wind up in a place like this. We're in Washington, D.C., 7th and H, Chinatown. Cool area, great like Instagram spot, but it's loud and there are tons
Yes.
of people. So I'm wondering, with your expertise, how can we find the cool spots that are maybe not the McDonald's on the corner?
Because we're in Chinatown, I would actually walk over to this block and look for the little Chinese restaurants that don't have much advertising. That's somewhere where I would go. Or because museums and the National Mall are right down there, I'm a museum person. I don't care what country I'm in, I'm gonna go to the museum. Because this is so loud, like that's my quiet place. So I love to venture to the museums. There's usually great things to find. A museum for anybody, even if you're not into them, you will find one that you can connect with. I love doing touristy things, but then, I mean, there are only but so many touristy things you can do. Eventually, I'm gonna wanna go to like the hidden gem, something I can share with my readers or my YouTube viewers, and yeah, everyone needs to know about it.
Could we maybe take a little small adventure to look through what we have here in Chinatown, but then maybe an area off the beaten path that
For
the
sure.
locals like? Okay.
Yes.
How do you wind up being a travel blogger?
I had this fashion blog, and I did a little something with it, but I noticed that the posts that were getting more traction was my travel filler posts. So for some reason, you know, I left the fashion blog alone because I wasn't doing much with it, you know, didn't have people to take my photos or anything. And I moved to New York, and that's when I realized how cheap traveling really was and how cheap those flights can get. I don't even think I was paying attention to them when I was living in DC, even though this is also a hub. Not as great of one, but it's still a hub.
Yeah.
So I started traveling more when I was living in New York and just, you know, putting up Instagram pictures and stuff. I went through a breakup, and that's when I decided to come up with Wanderlust My Way. I thought, I'm not going to not travel just because I don't have anyone to share lodging with and things like that, which helps. It does help. But I just wanted to follow my dream. So it literally was a random thing. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And then in 2017, I left corporate America, bought a one-way ticket to Colombia, and I had just been hopping around, and I would come back to DC for about a month or so, and then, you know, go off for another couple months journey.
Your philosophy is get out and walk, and we wouldn't know this was here if we weren't walking.
Yeah, there's so many things, restaurants, little lounges that I've discovered just from walking. And if you're in an Uber going from point A to point B or in the train or something, you're never gonna find these places.
What lessons have you learned over the past few years of being a travel blogger that maybe at the beginning you didn't know?
There is one huge lesson. Start with SEO with your blog, search engine optimization.
Okay.
Work on trying to rank on Google versus, I don't even know what I was supposed, I would just, you know, I wanted to tell stories and tell my exact experience. Not everybody wants to read about that. Some people do. For you to actually monetize your blog, you need to be on that first page of Google. So work on keywords. There are so many keyword search tools. Pay for one of those monthly and search for things that people are actually looking for on Google. You answer the questions that people are asking and not just what you want to put out there, because who asks for that?
In the end, this is also a job and it is a business.
Yeah.
And it's not just, I'm going to France and
Yeah.
I'm going to Australia.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, you gotta sometimes write about things that you don't care to write about, or, you know, the best hotels here, because you know that is something people are actually searching for, and not, how did I enjoy Prague? Like, they want to get something. Give them that information that they're looking for.
How do you decide the business model? And then when do you decide I'm going to go it alone and then I'll do SEO and I'll do it based on selling ads, I guess, on my site?
If you're very new, definitely reach out to activity companies that are, you know, maybe gonna give you a free tour in exchange for a blog post, because you do need that content, and you didn't have to pay for that tour that may be over X amount of dollars. So it helps, but I'd go ahead and pay for it myself. That way you don't feel pressure to, you know, fib a little bit. You can be 100% honest, which I always am. I don't care if you paid for this. I'm going to tell the truth.
You've gone from the corporate world to now your own world, which is the entire world. Where would you like to see this go in the future?
I wouldn't be traveling indefinitely, but every day if that's what I feel like and that's what brings me money. You know, I want to just be in a coffee shop somewhere writing my next blog post, or in a new city capturing new content, just experiencing the world in a more in-depth way than I can do right now.